There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. Moms for Liberty is a relatively new organization that has chapters in various counties across the United States. It was founded in 2021 by 3 former school board members who had witnessed how certain school board policies were directly hurting children and families. So they decided to create a group and use their firsthand knowledge and experience to unite parents who are ready to fight for those who stand in the way of liberty. Moms for Liberty welcomes everyone who has a desire to stand up for parental rights at all levels of government. They work to enrich, educate, and empower parents, policymakers, and the public on issues impacting the future of America by spreading awareness and an understanding of the limited role of government in order to hold decision makers accountable and to advocate liberty-minded individuals to serve in elected positions. Moms for Liberty stands together against government overreach and intimidation tactics. They promote liberty and teach the principles of liberty in their homes and communities. On my own here in Escambia County, ever since September of 2022, I've been going to almost every school board meeting, and I've been calling people. I've been on the phone calling people and kind of sort of rallying the troops to go speak at the school board meetings for what is important to us and for what we believe is good for our children. And I think it's been very effective because we've gotten, with the books, we've gotten a lot of books removed from the school, and we got a really good superintendent appointed. So, you know, kind of like out with the bad, out with the old, and in with the new and the good.
That's right.
So, but I'm really curious about Moms for Liberty, about how you got started, and can you tell us about some of the issues that you're tackling?
Well, we've been working on our project in Santa Rosa County for a year. We will be celebrating 1 year anniversary in March.
Congratulations.
March 30th.
Oh.
And it's been very successful. However, certainly we've been going through a lot of battles, and you and Charles visited our meetings. You know how many findings we were able to locate in our school district, just as you guys in Escambia County. And just at our last meeting, we was discussing the newest findings presented by Miss Vicki, who you probably know.
Oh yeah, know her very well.
That's right. She's wonderful. She's a warrior, and we are so blessed to have her on board.
We are. We're blessed to have her in the community because
that's true.
She was strong enough and courageous enough to stand up, even though she got a lot of backlash.
That's right.
She did what was right, and she wasn't afraid to do it.
And that is a true educator at heart. She truly cares about children, just as we are with Moms for Liberty in Santa Rosa County. And the shocking findings, they both hurtful and motivating, because we understand that this fight is so serious and we need to be proactive. We need to bring more people on board. We need to attend every school board meeting and keep advocacy going so that we can be effective and make change, just like in next door county, Escambia County, good example, how new superintendent and totally different approach, much more understanding of the seriousness of this project.
Well, I think that getting people together, we didn't have meetings before the school board meetings or anything, but we would have individual conversations over the phone about the issues, and then I get people to go and actually speak or to give their minutes to somebody else. But I think it's very effective to have kind of it's kind of like there's safety in numbers. Sometimes it takes an army to get things done. And the more people that you have fighting for what is good and right, the better chances you're going to get the board to vote the right way on certain issues.
That is correct. That is correct. But we also don't want to forget that our Declaration of Independence has only 56 signatures. It takes those courageous ones, even though sometimes it's very few that are starting the fight, recognizing the seriousness of this problem. But just like with Miss Vicky, with Moms for Liberty, a grassroots organization of parents, grandparents, concerned citizens, and it's growing from there. But it takes courage to start, and I applaud you for being a part of this fight and being so involved in protection of our children.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll attend as many meetings as I can. I think I've been about 3. I would say 4, but I know I've been to at least 3 meetings, and I enjoy the meetings. I enjoy the fellowship, and it's almost as if I miss a meeting, I feel like I'm missing something. I think it's a good cause. I think it's a good cause because we look at some of the things I've learned is how much the influence that the Library Association and folks at the higher level within government, the input that they have into the books that are being distributed. And I'm thinking that we're putting a lot of emphasis on getting rid of some of the books that should not be there. That's not age effective. But we also now we've gotten to the point where we're looking at some of the books coming in, and that's a large thing. I know in Escambia County, we have been able to get a board that supports some of the things that we're doing with the books, and we have a process in place. Tell us about the challenges. How is your school board towards some of the things that we're trying to do? And I say we because I'm there right with you most of the time. I'm there at the meetings with you. What are the challenges that we're having now in Santa Rosa County?
I'll tell you, Charles, in our county, our biggest challenge is bureaucracy, different layers of bureaucracy, not user-friendly policies, which basically putting the burden versus the school board and the superintendent onto librarians and principals, which technically they following the guidance from the district. And if statutory district has a lot of power, so they can choose policies, they can much faster remove pornographic books from the school libraries, and they can be much more proactive. The statute allows them to do so. However, with our fight, it's been big challenge.
Yeah, they're putting the burden on the citizens, on the parents, to find the books and then go through this long, crazy process. Exactly. It's backwards. The books need to be reviewed before they're brought in, not after they're brought in by a parent who stumbles upon it in the library. It doesn't make any sense.
And I'm glad you mentioned that and Charles too, that instead of being proactive and remove what is already there because it's so deep.
Yeah.
Inappropriate materials, and there's so much got rooted in the district that the district must take proactive action to remove those books and not to add the new ones. But even personally, I challenged the book that was copyrighted in 2022. So apparently the district kept purchasing those books and adding to collection, which is very sad situation. Yeah. And we address the American Library Association, which is very woke organization. Previously, I think it was previously led by the president was identifying herself as a Marxist lesbian. And so we actually passed a resolution with Moms for Liberty in Santa Rosa County to ask our district to cut ties with ALA. However, they did not listen, and they said that we're not spending money with ALA. However, they allocated $200,000 for it called FAME, which is affiliate of ALA, which is the same organization. So they're not being quite honest with us, and apparently they still are cooperating with that organization that keeps filling our school libraries with inappropriate materials.
I think as long as the American Library Association is receiving funding from the government, I think citizens should have an input, no matter what your status is, as to how that particular organization is ran and how the administrators run their own thing, because it is dealing with the children,
Right.
and I think because it flows down. So.
Well, there was a bill that was just recently passed regarding the American Library Association, and I thought it was to get the schools out, but apparently it was to get the public libraries out and not the schools. Did I get that wrong?
The state gives good guidance. However, the last decision on the school level with the school district will be on the leadership of the school district. So even though they did give this obviously public notice that, hey, we don't want to be a part of this organization, but our district, and as each district separately has to make that decision and not allocate money to spend with that organization.
I have a question about the board members, the district. Is it a thing where the board, if they wanted to, if they desired, they could actually go in and change policy? Are they saying that we have a policy in place and we're just going to go with the policy that we have, and the policy that we have basically says the status quo until somebody push hard enough to change it? Is it a lack of push from the board, lack of attentiveness from the board? What's holding it up? Is it members, or is it the board collectively?
Well, I think in general, that I'm just sharing my opinion, what's going on is when they get elected as a school board members, they immediately being pushed that mindset that they just have to be cheerleaders for the school district, to not say anything controversial, to be supportive of the leadership, and to follow the policies. They do not speak, and that's our biggest issue, that when we go to our school board meetings, none of the school board members even discussing anything with us. They don't put anything on the agenda. They don't really share where they stand. All we have is correspondence through emails with the district administration, superintendent, and I think they're just listening to the superintendent, quite honestly.
In Escambia County, the superintendent, we just went to a system where the superintendent is actually appointed by the board members. Right. At one time we had a strong superintendent where the superintendent was elected by the people, but now that superintendent is appointed, and I guess
that turned out to be a disaster in the beginning.
But anyway, it turned out to be a disaster. So, do you have the strong superintendent and the strong administration and the board members basically coalesce around the administration and what the superintendent say, or is that superintendent appointed there in Milton as he's elected by the people? In Santa Rosa County, I mean.
Yes, in Santa Rosa County, the superintendent is elected, and in fact, it's going to be a re-election of this year in 2024, and our superintendent will have already an opponent that signed up to run, which is Brenda Stevens. Actually, she's a part of Moms for Liberty team.
Good job.
Yes, she got very inspired with the whole situation. She got inspiration to run because of all these problems we have in the district, and the district is not taking an action to fix those problems.
Does she have a background in the school district at all, or teacher or anything?
Well, I know she has a background in education, and yes, I'd let you guys invite Brenda and speak about her background. Yes, but I know she's very smart. She has years of experience being in positions of leadership and leading big organizations. That much I know about her, but yes, certainly I would encourage you to invite her for your show.
Yeah, we would love to invite her for the show, and if the superintendent wanted to come. He can come as well. So
is it a male superintendent?
A woman.
If either one want to come, I would love to hear. Not together, but separately.
Well, you might want to get a debate.
I know, that would be good. That would be good.
Yeah. Because I'm very much interested in the challenges that we have, and I wouldn't say this if I was just a bystander, but I'm not actually a card carrying member, but my presence is always there, and that the challenges that we're facing, I'm very much interested in trying to see what the barriers are and where the barriers are, and see can we move past those barriers to get to a situation where we can actually go in and take a look, a system in place, and not just wait on the parents to do it, because there are books that are probably being handed out every day, and the parents are not going to read the books unless something pop up. It's the children that are reading the book, and because the parents are not overseeing the books, just like the internet, then it's most of the time it's too late before the child get a hold of something, and the parents find out about it.
Parents, say our district always likes to brag about that the parents do not limit the access of children to get books from the school libraries. But if you think about it, how many parents would even think sending their kids to school that they can check out from school library pornographic materials? A year ago, I did not think that's possible.
No, I didn't either.
I thought
that is so
schools
unfathomable.
should be free from pornography, from any kind of inappropriate materials.
Right.
It's shocking information, and that's why even when we discussing policies, even we have debating about which policy going to be good, which policy going to be bad, I think any adult could understand. We do not need special committee or judges to decide. When we see this content, every parent, every concerned citizen, every sane adult would be able to determine this is not belonging in schools. We have to remove it. In Okaloosa County, the superintendent removed it. We had a list of books that we presented to Santa Rosa County administration about a year ago with the proof of pornographic content. And what they did, they decided that, we're going to go through all this bureaucratic process to get rid of those books. In Okaloosa County, the superintendent looked at it and he decided this is inappropriate, it's gone. And that is a leadership we want to see in Santa Rosa County, and unfortunately we do not see it as of now.
I want the public to know, SCAMI as well as Santa Rosa County, that we're not trying to push books out of the library or from the school, from the students. We just want the books to be age appropriate. If you can take those two words, and if you can implement those two, and just make sure that that content is age appropriate, and if it's something that your child, you as an administrator, as a teacher, as a part of that particular system, if it's something that you would like your child to read, and if you would like your child to read it, and if it's not age appropriate, then that's on you. But we just have too many things that occupying our children's mind this particular day and time. I see with children are committing certain acts, committing suicide, just doing all types of things, and books that are not age appropriate are not helping out. And I'll let you.
And I wanted to add very quick to what you were saying about suicide, bullying is raising as we just at the last meeting that you guys missed, we had Chief Deputy Randy Tift attending our meeting, and he updated us on bullying, cyberbullying. It's the mindset of children is getting much worse, and we ask ourselves why. Well, when we see school districts that are filled with pornographic materials, that's where kids don't have hope. Where is that purity? Something that they're looking for. They're just starting their life, and this materials. Those are not just books. I read those kind of contents, and when you're reading that, it's dark. It's so dark. In my whole entire life, I've never seen this kind of contents. And when you read that and when you think this can pollute young minds, it's heartbreaking that there's adults that are still debating, well, it might be okay. It's not okay. And it gives our youth no hope for something better, something pure and clear in life. This is just their start, and we need to really activate and fight this evil. It's true evil.
Well, we all know that there was some controversy with the founders of Moms for Liberty. And so I'd like to clear some things up, clear the air with the controversy. But first, we're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion and we'll get into some nitty-gritty about the controversy.
Yes. The husband named Christian.
There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. There has been some controversy, I think everybody knows, with the founders of Moms for Liberty.
Yeah, the Kristen and Bridget Ziegler. I think Kristen was the chair of the Florida Republican Party, and Bridget was affiliated, one of the co-founders of Moms for Liberty, and also on the Disney board, and that created a lot of controversy when there was this sort of sexual thing that went on between the two of them and a third party. What type of effect did that controversy have? Has it had an effect on Moms for Liberty? I would say locally, statewide, even national-wide, to your knowledge, just based on what you're saying. What's your perception on the
well,
effect?
as a chairwoman of Santa Rosa County chapter, I can say on our chapter it did not get any effect because we are laser focused on our mission. We have a lot of things we need to complete. And certainly the opposition would love to spread drama and create controversies when they are actually the ones who are sexualizing children. You know, to me, yes, a lot of things happening in different people's lives, but what we have to keep reminding ourselves, what are we fighting for? We're fighting for protection of our children. And this is the most important topic. And when the left trying to push for controversies, when the opposition trying to push for controversies, we need to stay laser focused. This is our mission. This is what we do. We can't control what other people do, but we can control what we do, and we have to be focused on our mission. Moms for Liberty is a grassroots organization. We are just parents. We're grandparents. We're concerned citizens. We're not politicians. And we keep fighting as mothers fighting for their children. This is something you can't stop with some drama or controversies or some headlines, which certainly media
You're your
loves.
own chapter, and you have your own people in your community, and you're focused on the issues in your county. So whatever happened in South Florida happened in South Florida, and it can stay in South Florida because it's not going to affect us.
That's correct.
One way I look at it is from being a Republican and being a conservative, is that at first we took a look at it because we had to make sure that what was being stated was actually factual, had some truth to it. Once we found out in Florida as a party, we held a meeting probably within 2 or 3 weeks of that controversy coming out. And at that meeting in December, I believe what we done, we basically told the individual that we reduced his pay pretty much down to zero. We had a meeting, and then we had a larger meeting in January where we actually expelled him from the party. That's what conservative does. That's what Republican does. The same as, I don't know, I see so much hypocritical type of things happen. Just like with George Santos, we're short right now in the House of Representatives because we done the right thing, and we let the left and push us to getting rid of one of our congresspersons. But we felt it was the right thing. And what I can say to anyone out there, those individuals have their own price to pay. But like in any good organization, if you have a bad apple, something happened that you don't have control over, you take immediate action, corrective action. And the action that the party took was to get rid of the individual. And we didn't wait 3 or 4 months. We immediately got rid of that individual. And as a party, we're moving on. And I want to say to everyone that Christian was not a member of Mom for Liberty. His wife was, and she's no longer. I don't believe she no longer has a leadership role. She no longer has a leadership role because they have their own demons and things to deal with, and we just pray for them.
Bridget stepped down from Moms for Liberty after the very first when they started in 2021. I believe she stepped down from Moms for Liberty. So Bridget was not even a member of Moms for Liberty
during the controversy. Oh well, okay.
That's correct.
We done the right thing, and only thing I can do is just pray for them that they would move on with their life, because like it was 3 adults. They were adults. And those were not children. We're not talking about children. We're talking about adults doing the things that.
Exactly, you're exactly correct. We're talking about adults. The morale of that, of course, it's not even our place to discuss this because, like you said, we can only pray. No. Pray for them, pray for that situation, that God takes over that situation. And stay laser focused on our mission.
On what we're trying to do.
That's correct.
Okay.
So, if somebody wants to go to a Moms for Liberty meeting, or if they're just interested in learning more about Moms for Liberty, is there a website they can go to?
Yes, absolutely. It's momsforliberty.org, and then you click Find My Chapter. You can find us on the map, the Santa Rosa County chapter, and you'll find all our contacts on our page.
Is it Moms and then the number 4, Liberty? Or is it FOR?
No, I believe it's Moms for FOR.
Okay.
Momsforliberty.org.
And is there an apostrophe in Moms? Some people might try
No.
Okay, so because it's plural, momsforliberty.org.
That's correct.
Great.
And is there an email address or something?
I would share my email address. It's moms. This time it's number 4. Moms for Liberty. SRC as one word at gmail.com, and anybody can email to me, and we meet every last Tuesday of the month at the Santa Rosa County Chamber of Commerce building, which is 4315 Avalon Boulevard in Milton, Florida.
And if a concerned parent has a concern about some of the literature and some of the things, because I see at the meetings, I see parents come in talking about what's going on with their children. If they have a concern, would it be okay for them to contact your organization and come in and bring their issue and maybe bring their support as well?
Absolutely. We always welcome new guests, parents, and in fact, majority of our information that we're sharing with our chapter comes from either teachers or parents. Sometimes they would like to stay anonymous, sometimes they come to our meetings, but just like the latest information that got to our inbox was about tutor.com, which is an interesting thing that in Santa Rosa County, our students using an app called tutor.com, and currently
sounds innocent,
but nothing is innocent when we're talking about Santa Rosa County School District. Currently this app is owned by China. It's one of the largest Chinese investment groups, and headquartered in Hong Kong. So basically all students' privacy could be potentially exposed to the Chinese Communist Party. Because another thing that we were able to discover, that company that owns Tutor.com, the head of the company is affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party.
Interesting.
And if you think about that, it's not like a t-shirt that you bought and it's made in China and you own it. This app still owned by that Chinese investment group.
And you put your information in and they have access to...
That's how serious it is. This fight is so serious. We cannot get distracted with any drama, any controversies. We have to be so focused. We have so much work to do.
I've seen quite a few people come as guest speakers. Sometimes I come just could be. I want to see the guest speakers. I know you've had Escambia County Commissioner Mike Kolar, District 2.
Right.
He was your guest speaker. There you had Michelle Salter, State Representative, was there. One week I came to a meeting and our former representative Mike Hill. I'm not sure what to call him. I may want to call him Reverend Mike Hill because he was more powerful than a deacon that night.
Mike. I know. He's my former boss, by the way.
Yeah, Mike Hill was there, and we had a preacher that was there the last time I came.
That was the...
Who was that? He's pretty powerful
he was from
too.
a church in Milton.
Or
Baghdad.
Pastor?
Yeah.
Pastor Bruce Chambers from Baghdad Assembly of God.
Baghdad.
Wonderful.
That was
pastor,
an interesting
his wife,
speech.
Yeah, from Baghdad Assembly of God. So it's a good meeting to attend, and you learn a lot. I just want to thank you. I can look at you and tell you're very passionate
Thank you so
about your work. I'm passionate about my support for the organization as a whole. I can't get to every meeting, but it's a great work. I just want the public to know we're not trying to get rid of books. I know people say all the time, you're trying to ban books. No, you got to have the reading, you got to have the writing, you got to be able to do the arithmetic, and you got to have some social issues and history and all. But the only thing we're saying, if it's going to be sexual content and if it's going to be provocative, let it be age appropriate. We just want to make sure our children don't grow up too fast. They grow up fast enough on their own, but we don't want to push them and nudge them. We want them to enjoy being whatever age they are.
We want to protect them from what's going to harm them. We don't want to expose them to it.
Education should be quality education. It should be about learning, preparing them to be competitive. You know, when you see China owns our apps that kids using in schools, and then the sexualization of children, LGBTQ propaganda in schools, and do you think China does that? They're preparing for the war, for the fight, you know? We have to be competitive. Our children, they should be prepared. They should be smart and savvy in technology. They should be learning math and reading. But it's polluting their minds. It's filling their young minds that just like a sponge. You know how kids are. They observing real quick. And you can raise children to be very smart, intelligent, with good morals and values. And they will know what is right, what is wrong, what is bad, what is good. But when you start filling those children's mind with this corrupted information that is completely not appropriate for children. It's even for adults. You can ask Miss Vicky. We talk almost every day about this subject. That it's hurting this.
Well, it's pure pornography.
Yes, it's absolutely. It's dark.
It's sensualization. To read it and to see the images. There's no other way to describe it than pornography, and that's what you want to protect children from. It doesn't belong in school on any age level.
Exactly.
So I'd like a recap on the last meeting though with the sheriff, Santa Rosa County Sheriff. What did he speak about the law?
Chief Deputy.
Okay.
Yes, it's kind of like a second in command.
Yeah, Chief Deputy.
He was amazing. He gave us so much insights from the law enforcement perspective. We discussed Statute 847, which is a criminal statute, and how how it could be enforced. Unfortunately, our laws are so broad that we probably would need some statutory change and legislative help, and that will be our next step to talk about that with our delegation, with our legislators. We do need some change, so our law enforcement would have clear direction how to address this. Because even our law enforcement, they want to help. They really with us in this fight, but they do not know where to start and how to find the proof of intent.
That's right.
We had books that we challenged before, officially with their form, with all their bureaucracy that they wanted to see. And
which is ridiculous.
It is. It truly is. And now they're back on the shelves and being checked out by the minors.
Well, I think Escambia County, there was some talk. I don't know if it's gone into effect, but one of the board members, I believe, wanted to charge people who don't have children in the school district $100 per book that they challenge. So now they're wanting to charge a fee to challenge the books. Nobody's going to pay $100 to challenge any books, and so we need to completely change the way that they do it. The book challenge is backwards.
Exactly.
It should not be up to the parents and the citizens of the county to find the books and to pay $100 to challenge them. That should never have to happen.
And
the book shouldn't be there to begin with.
I completely agree with you. I think that the district, like our district, they have a lot of administrative positions that don't make any sense. It's just growing government, spending more money.
Yeah, they spent more money on the board to review the book review board. Book review board.
They could have.
They spent thousands of dollars. They had to buy a whole bunch of those bad books so that those people could read them.
That's right. They could have spent money for one position to have a proactive reviewer that will be the main direction.
Like the media specialist.
Make sure, right. Like the media specialist. You're right. The media specialist should do that, but our media specialist completely doesn't do anything.
Right. They want the bad books in Escambia County too.
Mm-hmm.
They are for the pornographic books. They think it's okay to pollute children's minds, and I don't understand that.
That is exactly true. We have a lot of opposition that they really believe it's okay to have pornography available in schools.
One thing you said that was really interesting is that the legislature should step up, but even now it appears that the changes, the power lies within each district. Each district can pretty much decide how they want to handle the books. Because there's no state law, there's nothing that has been legislated as far as books in the system of the legislature. And why is it that this district, that Escambia and Okaloosa, could bring forth some type of enforcement, but yet you have Santa Rosa is kind of lax on that enforcement? Because there's no statewide mandate or legislature?
There is, Charles. There is a state laws, but the problem with state laws, they have no teeth. So it's very hard to enforce those laws.
It's how you interpret the law, and if they interpret it as it's not sexual material.
And plus, they have also statutory. They have a lot of power. The district has a lot of power. The administration, the school board, superintendent, they are. I did not even know that to be on the board or to be a superintendent, you will have more say than even the state, because every approach to the state was they was giving us an answer that the school district is in control, which was both frustrating and sometimes.
So we need to elect the people who are going to do the right thing.
On another hand, I understand why, because historically it's much easier to approach your local government with your grievances than to go to the state or federal government.
Right.
That's why they have power that they have.
And it makes sense. I like it. We just need the right people in power.
Exactly.
So it appears that if a county, if a citizenry is not satisfied, the best thing they can do is look at who's their elected official, or who is that person they have elected, a person that they have elected who has appointed a person, and deal with it from that way. But at the same time, continue to deal with your legislative delegation,
right,
and let them know, is there any way we can put more teeth into this, broaden it,
right,
bring more enforcement to it? Because if something is on the books, I know how that works with immigration. We have laws on the books that can really stop and stop the flood of immigration right now. It's on the books, but it's not being enforced. So
Exactly.
so just to bring it back to this right here, maybe and also some district may fear the retaliation of court challenge. They may not want to get into something because they feel like there's going to be a court challenge. But sometimes you have to do the right thing, and maybe the attorney that you have on staff, and they may have to fight a battle or two. I know we've had some court challenges here in Escambia County,
right,
but we have an attorney, and I'm sure you guys have an attorney on staff too, that if they make a decision that they won't, the attorney will take the income, and unless they do something personally or something like that, anything to protect the children. What I'm saying is that the system is built for the children, the school system, facilities, classrooms, and the environment. And if we're not doing that, I just see that we're not doing right by our children.
And the public education is most funded area that we can even think about, and we thinking about, like you said, attorneys. We can afford and we must do the right thing, but the problem is, even with attorney like in Santa Rosa County, he couldn't quite give us a clear explanation of the statute, because he was playing with definitions, and well, it could be defined this way,
Right.
I was like, look, we do not
You have
need
to
a
look at
special
his
legal opinion. When you look at those materials, we can challenge it.
Right.
It's not
right
debatable,
in your face.
even.
Right.
Exactly. You can speak smart words. You can pretend being a very smart attorney that you know the laws and statutes, but you cannot deny the obvious.
Right.
This is obvious.
Those people just want to corrupt children's minds.
Exactly.
They want their minds to be corrupted.
And they want this new normalcy. Everything is normal. Even I'm sure you've heard about this UN headlines, even almost advocating for pedophilia to create that new normality. This is also normal. This is where we're heading. If we're not going to stop this evil is targeting our children. And that's why I cannot stress enough how important it is for us to activate. If we don't have an attorney that can give us clear definition, this is wrong, and help us fight this battle, then that attorney needs to change. Same with leadership. That
attorney should be able to, and I'm going to say that because I can see it, that attorney should be able to go in and give an interpretation to what he thinks or what he feels, his interpretation of the law. And if he doesn't, and if he or she is not able to interpret, they should be able to go somewhere and get an interpretation of the law. But what's going to happen, particularly in public schools, is that parents are going to eventually start taking their children out of public schools and putting them into private schools. And a lot of the funding that's out there that the public schools are getting, when you start seeing that decrease and you see that in the student population and the increase in public schools and in private schools and parochial type schools, then at that time, because those dollars are not guaranteed, because a lot of parents are not saying anything, they're just removing their children.
And that's what happens with Santa Rosa County School District. They're losing a lot of enrollments. because especially with that HB1 that allows us to use funding that was allocated for each student to use for education. So if parents do not want their children to attend public school, they can withdraw and enroll them into private school and use that funding that the state allocates. So it's really creates a good competition for the school district. And now the school district should really fight hard to keep those kids in the public school, to give assurance to those parents that they deserve that funding because they're providing quality education free from indoctrination.
Right. Well, when I was going to school, we had the basics. We had reading, writing, math, history, and science. Mm-hmm. That's what we had. There weren't any books in the library that have those crazy images or written by people who were, raped by men and enjoyed it.
It's so frustrating.
The schools need to get back to basics.
That's correct.
They need to teach reading, writing, math, history, and science, and skills. Like I love the idea that a lot of schools are actually doing, and they're teaching skills in the schools. Mm-hmm. They're streamlining, and that's a great idea. But they need to get back to basics.
Absolutely.
And I think, do you feel sometime that? How do you feel about 4-year-old? You feel like you is anybody? You feel like somebody's listening, or you feel like you making a dent? There are days that you just feel like, oh.
That's a good question, Charles. You know what I feel? I feel that God is guiding us and protecting us. And I feel this fight is bigger than me. And just like other warriors, we are followed by the Spirit, and the Spirit is protecting us. This is a spiritual battle. And going through that spiritual battle, you cannot go alone. You have to go with faith. You have to go with your God and fight the good fight, because you understand those are children we're talking about. And as a mother of 2 girls, nothing motivates me more than to fight for children despite the attacks, despite the disappointments sometimes of the leadership that does not listen to us. Mm-hmm. Because I'm thinking about where my girls will be growing in 30, 40 years from now, what kind of world it's going to be. If we're not going to do anything, even think about it 10 years ago from today, mm-hmm. It was still not that bad.
Right.
It tremendously changing day by day, this agenda being pushed onto our children and adults, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Lack of morals, no family values, nothing of purity, and especially with children. We can't help adults, but we can help children. We can protect children, as give them good guidance. Because schools, it's a place where they're taking that guidance, where they expect to see something right, mm-hmm. some good, righteous, just guidance.
And there's rules, and there's structure, and there are things that you're supposed to do, and there are things that you can't do, and there's discipline. So that's what schools should be. Exactly. Children should be disciplined if they do something wrong. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't be allowed to stay in the classroom if they're doing something wrong. And they're expected to participate. They're given assignments. They're expected to complete those assignments and to turn them in and participate and not act up. And
a lot of people also saying that they can find a lot of bad materials online.
Of course,
my take on
keep them offline.
Okay, well, even if they can find a lot of bad things online, one advice is to keep them offline. But mm-hmm. in schools, it should be a place of purity and free from bad stuff. That we talk about schools. We're not talking about dark web, internet. Yeah. And by the way, digital access is another area we did not touch. And Ms. Vicky presented yesterday a PowerPoint presentation where she showed the ways of our children can have access to actually graphic pornography. Mm-hmm. That is so... I had to turn my head away a couple times.
Oh, yeah, of course. I wouldn't want to see it. But okay, part of the argument for the books is that they're going to see it anyway, outside of school. But they don't understand that we are supposed to protect our children from that. We're not supposed to hand it to them and say, hey, it's okay. We know you see it out there. Here it is here, too.
Exactly.
It is supposed to be a place of purity.
Exactly.
If they get it out there, they get it out there. but we're not telling them that it's okay.
Exactly.
I say to those parents, you should monitor your children, not only what they read in school, but you should monitor and pay attention to what they are doing on the internet and in social media as well. You can't say why monitor the books when they're going to sit on the internet, because as a parent you should be responsible for that child. And we're not talking young adults. We're talking more elementary through, I say like elementary through 5th and 6th grade in particular. That's my focus. You should watch them all the way up.
Yeah, that's when their minds are developing, and everything that they come into contact with is shocking and affects them in a certain
I'll
way.
tell you, Charles, there's actually no definition as young adults. I know there is more like grown kids, but there's adults and kids and minors. We have a clear definition of that, and I know they start doing this young adults sections in libraries. And
that's
everything.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And this is another thing. Those are kids. Kids are kids. If we and the thing about the bad things that they can have access to, like alcohol, tobacco, are we going to allow this in school too? Just because they can get access to it anyways? You know,
that's a good point.
We have to be an example. Schools have to be an example.
Yeah, they can have access to illegal drugs.
Exactly.
Are we going to say that's okay? Actually, here you go. Here's some marijuana for you, because that's what they're doing with the books. If they can get that content outside of school, so then it's okay to get it in school. They're missing the point. They're missing the point that the school is there to protect children from what can harm them.
Exactly.
That's the number one goal. I mean, when I was sending my child to school, my main priority was that he was safe. I wanted him to be safe and protected while he was in school, physically and mentally.
Right.
I mean, first and foremost, above teaching, above feeding him, above physical activity, I want him to be safe.
As any mother, this is
absolutely.
I really would love to have the individual that's running for school superintendent to come on the show. And one reason is I have no problem with the current superintendent, but I'm just looking at where we are, and there appear to be some challenges. That person can come on the show as well.
Yeah.
We'll reach out to that person too, but I would like for the person that's running to come on the show, because there's something that can't be done, or there's something that can be done and nobody wants to do. And I want to know, are we stuck where we are, or is there something that can be done, and where is the loggerhead? Where is it that, what is it, why can't we get through to a reasonable, to these parents, why we can't do nothing with these books? Because I know other districts are doing it.
Right.
So I would love it. I just want to hear somebody that has some answers that's in a position.
I think the main ultimate goal should be statutory change, and legislatively we need help. And I think once we will be able to enforce the statute that already exists, and it's a third-degree felony to spread pornographic materials to minors. Once we have a clear path for the law enforcement to enforce this statute, we will be in much better shape. Just like with drug abuse, we have clear statutes how to address that. We need the same exact legislative change with Statute 847, so we can actually make a difference not just in separated districts, but statewide.
So that's a legislative.
And nationwide.
You're saying we need legislature.
I think
sort of legislation.
Needed.
What can we do?
Absolutely.
Short of legislation.
Exactly. Well, we have to have a clear path. How can they enforce that? Because right now, to enforce Statute 847, there are so many steps you need to do before you can make a case, and it's almost,
they've put so many loopholes in it. They've made it impossible.
Exactly. And this intent clause that you have to look into.
I know we're running out of time, so go ahead.
So it was so nice to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming back on, and we will have you on again. And Charles and I, at least I can't really speak for him, but we're going to go to your meetings regularly.
Looking forward to it, and thank you for having me.
So the Thornton Review is on the air to provide public service awareness and intellectual infrastructure to our community. You can watch our program on our new outlet, Pensacola Urban Network, Praise TV, and WBQP 12.1 and 12.8. And you can watch us on Praise TV on Roku Television Network, or download Praise TV on Google Play Store.
And I want to say one thing. You can also watch us at the Thornton Review, www.thethorntonreview.com. We're also on the thorntonreview.com.
This show was made possible by Ida Gates Godly Tees LLC, Next Door Real Estate Photography, First National Title Insurance Company, and our guest MARIYA CALKINS, Chairwoman for Moms for Liberty of San Rosa County Chapter. And we want to thank you for watching this episode of the Thornton Review. The Thornton Review is on the air to provide public service awareness and intellectual infrastructure to our community. We hope you'll tune into our next show. Bye-bye.